Hey everyone, welcome to Hellotouf, the YouTube channel for film reviews, tech and cameras. And today I'm going to be reviewing Life with Music starring Patrick Stewart and Katie Holmes. Let's have a look at the trailer.
We made all the adjustments. I think you'll be very pleased.
Thank you.
Move over a little, will you?
So on paper, Life with Music seems like a really interesting film. I was quite excited by the poster, which featured Patrick Stewart and Katie Holmes. And really the story is about Patrick Stewart, who is a major world-renowned concert pianist, and he's going through a bit of a tough time. He's getting to that point in his life and his career where things are getting a little bit tough, and at the same time he's also kind of wondering about his place in the world. He's aided by his agent, played by Giancarlo Esposito, who you might have seen from Breaking Bad, and basically he's kind of deciding what's happening to him because he's feeling a bit frail and worried, and everything seems a little bit much. Katie Holmes plays Helen Morrison, a music critic who is in the first instance trying to get an interview with Henry Cole, and is basically knocking on his door quite a lot in dressing rooms and approaching him at times that he finds maybe slightly inappropriate. As Helen Morrison becomes more of a feature in Henry Cole's life, essentially the two of them start to hang out more, and a friendship seems to grow and develop between the two characters. The problem with Life of Music is it's a really good film in terms of the performances by Patrick Stewart, Katie Holmes and Giancarlo Esposito. They inhabit their characters really well, and the premise of the story is really interesting. You know, time, artistry, the idea of what happens if you lose your artistry, the idea of creative realization, what happens when you get old, what happens when you lose your muse. Those kind of themes and ideas are really, really strong in the film. The difficult thing about that is that you'd want there to be some kind of flow, and unfortunately I think Life with Music doesn't quite have the flow spot on. Like a classical piece of music, you'd have the flow go from take you through waves, and you'd kind of feel the beginning, middle and end. Maybe sometimes this is down due to the cutting and the editing of the piece, so essentially timing in terms of how things are delivered are kind of like key. So while the intention of the film is good, and while it's great to see Patrick Stewart, Katie Holmes and Giancarlo Esposito all on screen and also doing their characters really well, it's the flow of it doesn't quite work or gel together. Giancarlo Esposito as the agent, I was kind of a bit worried because maybe it's a casting thing, but essentially knowing that he's from Breaking Bad and knowing that he plays someone quite sinister, it is really weird seeing him be really friendly and really nice to Patrick Stewart. Not to say he should be typecast as a kind of drug baron, but it's also interesting to see him in that role, and he does break out of it. But also there was a moment throughout the whole film, whenever he was on screen, I was wondering when he was going to turn nasty or get a gun out and shoot Patrick Stewart in the head, which obviously doesn't happen in this film. The thing that really does kind of stand out is the fact that the music's really good in this film. The music is really great, and it's really enjoyable to see that they used body doubles for the playing of the piano in the film for Patrick Stewart and Katie Holmes. But what is great about it is the music kind of just flows through the film, and the music is done really, really well. There is a sticky point as well about the fact that it's really interesting seeing Patrick Stewart and Katie Holmes have a friendship, but when something leans towards romantic ideals, it doesn't quite work, and I think that's when I got completely distracted from the film. Now, I like the film because I like Patrick Stewart and I like Katie Holmes, and I think seeing them on the screen together is really, really cool. But I feel like Claude Lalonde hasn't quite fully realised the film as a whole, and I do kind of feel that essentially if they'd allowed more ad-libbing to be done, for there to be more naturalistic takes to be taken hold, or maybe it wouldn't have been so heavily scripted, there's something else that they could have brought to it, I think it would have lifted the film a little bit better. Life of Music is an interesting film. The ideas of how an artist loses his creativity and also finds some kind of solace in terms of friendship is really interesting. It kind of veers towards the over sentimental when it goes towards the romantic leanings in the film, which I didn't really enjoy that much. But performances by Giancarlo Esposito, Katie Holmes and Patrick Stewart are really, really good, and it's worth seeing for that alone. For me, though, the film gets 2 out of 5, and if you do like classical music, Patrick Stewart and Katie Holmes, go and see the film. Thanks for watching the review, and essentially if you'd like to see another video on the Hellotouf YouTube channel, just click here. If you want to subscribe, then click here. Please leave a comment below and let us know what you think about Life with Music. I'd love to know your thoughts actually, because you know, I do think that this film review channel is really about my opinion and how I feel about films, so I'd like to know what you think about the film. I think it's good and I think it's great, but I also think it's worth seeing, so let me know what you think of the film once you've seen it. It's available for digital download from Monday the 27th of July, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one.